Let's go get some pictures. We'll select upon our map a large rectangular grid. Remember, we want to see non-forested polygons as well as forested, since it's all interrelated. I programmed the drone to fly this 100-meter grid, taking photos each 100 meters. Okay, right there, right there. So 1,500 meters by 1,500 meters, that's 200. That'll be 225 total shots, because we're going to take one for every 100 meters. Okay. Now, the grid could be bigger or smaller or whatever, but this is a good size. This is just under a square mile. So it's a very good size, really. Okay. Obviously, when you're doing your mission runs, taking these pictures, your batteries aren't going to last long enough to do this whole mission. Not even close. You have to pack a lot of batteries. I'm going to have to pack a lot of batteries, and and just accept that. Anyway, let's say that we start somewhere. I don't know where we're going to get into this area. But let's say we find the end of a road or a piece of road somewhere. Let's say right there. Okay. So what I do is I manually fly up to the desired altitude, and this will be the altitude that I fly for the entire flight, regardless of the ground elevation below, which will be changing a lot. Then I make sure that my camera is facing due north. Okay. And pointing straight down. Make sure the exposure settings and the white balance and all that stuff are set correctly. Oh, and by the way, if you're going to be flying over 120 meters above wherever you start in elevation, you need to get permission from the DOT. You also need to have your drone registered. You need to register. Get all those legalities in place so you don't ever have to think about it. Anyway, I start my mission. I go about 20 kilometers an hour between each point. And then I have the drone stop for a second, orient itself straight north. Okay. And then I wait have it wait about 5 seconds, during which time I can double check the exposure and the white balance and everything else. Then I have it snap two pictures, one raw and the other JPEG. When that's done, I have my base set of photos, 225 photos. It's time to drive back to the office and process them. These photos will be archived and only copies made out of them. They themselves won't be touched, because we don't want to have to go back here and do another drone flight. Okay, from our original 225 photos, I'm going to end up making 3 different sets. The first set is going to be exactly this 1 hectare. Each photo taken is going to be 1 hectare in size, and there's going to be 225 of them. That's one set. Okay. Now, there's one thing you might notice about this, and that's that when I take a photo, it's way bigger than that. This is about the size. When I take a photo, it's about this big. It's not the size of 1 hectare. It's way bigger, closer to 20 hectares. Okay, so why don't we? You could ask the question: why don't we just take a lot less photos and not bother with 225, just bother with about 25? It'd be a lot easier. But we don't want sideways distortion. What we want is that. Okay, we want to be able to look at each picture 1 to 5,000, all 225 scaled exactly 1 to 5,000. We want to be able to look straight down on the trees, okay? Just like that. What we don't want this. We don't want to see all the edges of trees and everything. How can we count trees? We want to be able to, for a lot of reasons, which I'll get into in a while. I need to be looking straight down upon all of the trees, not that. This, not that. Okay. So it's very important for our one set that's the way it is. Okay, this isn't the only set that we're going to want to make from our 225 though. Let me just erase that, maybe even erase that, and say, okay, what else can we do? What I want is I want to be able to create, okay, from over here, I want to create another set that actually overlaps. Like you take a picture here, it's taking the 1 hectare, and it's going to take half of the next hectare. And we're just going to leapfrog like that. And the purpose of that, as you've already guessed, is so that we can look at everything in stereo. And the reason you might wonder, the reason I keep it strictly on the 100-meter line is because a lot of times when I'm doing dots, counting trees, doing different things, I have a tendency to, if it overlaps into the next line, it gets confusing. You count dots twice. And I've had bad problems with it. So I just keep it at exactly 100 meters wide. Okay, so that's a set. Okay, but sometimes I'm running contours. I might be running a ridge line, where I actually do want that overlap. So I'll overlap it the forward direction. I'll overlap it the same distance in the sideways direction, so that I can just keep going. I don't have to be abruptly stopped every 100 meters. I can keep, there's some overlap and I can keep going on it. So it's kind of nice to have that overlapping set as well. So what we've got from our original 225 photos is we've got 3 different sets of photos to do 3 different things. Okay, how does the computer do this? How does it go about this procedure? I can give you a demonstration of that right now. Okay, I'm going to show how we trim, scale, and place the photos on the map. And I really can't show you how the computer scales it and trims it. It happens so fast that there's nothing to see, but I can show you how I place it. In fact, I can give you an idea of how it trims and scales it. Let me see. Let's grab our first photo. First photo would be right there, and I'm going to place it. Whoa! When I tried to place it on the map, this is what it did. Here's our block right in there. Here's what it did. It gave us a rather large photo, quite a bit more than what we need. So anyway, let's send it off to get trimmed and scaled and everything. Okay. That was quick. Now let's get it back. Okay. We'll get it back. What am I doing here? I think that hopefully that's the right one. Oh, I'll have to go way in here. Way in here. This is our new photo after it's been trimmed and scaled. Now we need to stick it wherever it goes. Oh, wrong one. It wasn't that far from where it needed to go. Right there. Okay. Now, one thing I need to point out is when I send these drone out on a mission, sometimes it doesn't take the picture in the right spot. In this whole series, I don't know if it was my mistake or the drones, but all of them were taken about 25 meters too far to the north from the UTM grid. So when I saw that, I thought, okay, it's not doing it in the exact right spot. I just moved the UTM grid temporarily 25 meters to the north, and then everything seemed to fit right. Okay, so we'll go through our next one. Let's grab our next one. I'm not going to bother to grab the great big giant thing that got placed and everything. Let's grab our next one. It's been now officially scaled and trimmed, and I will go for our next one, which has been scaled and trimmed. And I'm going to probably speed this process up a little bit and just stop talking. Okay, so let's see it. I speeded it up a little bit there, just so we wouldn't have to wait for that. This is only 10 photos, but placing them is the main part that a human being such as me has to pay a whole lot of attention to once you get the parameters and everything set up for the computer to take over and do the scaling and the trimming, which is a bit. I'm not sure how long it would take to do the 225 photos, but this 10, that's how long it took, when most of that was taken up just with what I'm doing now. Okay, what I need to say, this is it. Now notice we're looking straight down in this photo upon all of the tree crowns. That's how it blocks it up. Does it just like that. And it doesn't, you have to do a little bit of playing around with this. It's not just like you push a button and everything happens by magic. But that's it. We can see all of our dead trees. Well, we'll get into all that in a minute. Anyway, I just wanted to show you how the computer does the 3 things: the scaling, the trimming, and how I actually do the placing. Okay. Okay, we've taken our photos. We've got them scaled, we've got them trimmed, we've got them placed upon our map. Okay, so now what do we do? What do we do? How do we process them? How can we come up with stems per hectare, species per hectare? How about dead trees, stressed trees, blowdown patches? In other words, from the photos we've taken, what good can we derive from all of the photos that we've just barely taken?